Hi, Nico here. We're gonna do a little, like a pretty short, I'm imagining it as like a kind of a wake up, waking your body up flow. So maybe it's not necessarily something you do in the morning, although it certainly could be. But just, activating your body. It could also be that you sat at work all day long, and it's time to go to jujitsu, and your body needs to kind of wakey. So we're gonna do a little bit of that. So we're gonna start in child's pose. So child's pose, I'll give a little rundown. We are seated on our heels. There's some options in child's pose. There's not a necessarily technically correct way, but I go knees wide. It gives a space for your stomach to kind of sink and rest in between, and it gives a little more depth for me for my torso to fall. You can have arms out, you can have them active, you can have them back. I'm going to do arms out. And I'm going to do them arms out and kind of relaxed. So we'll start with a big inhale through the nose. Open your mouths, sigh it out. We'll do another one of those. Big inhale through the nose. Open your mouth, sigh it out. Maybe even do a kind of an audible grunty groan as you sigh it out. There's medicine in that, so go for it if that feels good. So we're just gonna kind of pause here for a second, enjoying the pressure on our third eye. The opening in our chest and back and shoulders. You might have a little bit of tension in your hip flexors. Just try to breathe through any tensions that you have. So take an inhale and kind of have this cleansing, washing away with your inhale. And then as you exhale, just releasing that tension. And literally feeling that release, tuning into it. We're going to take our right hand, stretch it out just a little bit further, and then we're going to open up to the left. You should feel a nice stretch in your kind of behind your armpit. Good, we'll come back to center. Stretch the left arm out, turn to the right. Opening up through that kind of underneath your wing, your scapula. And then we're going to come back to center. We're going to shift forward, coming up, and being kind to yourself because your body's probably a little tired and tight. Just shift your hips forward as much as feels like kind, You're not killing the stretch yet. We're just getting started. And as you're pushing forward or like kind of letting your weight come forward, give a little tuck of your tail, engaging your glutes, and come back. So we're going to go through that a couple times. Let's inhale as we come forward. Exhale as we come back. Inhale as we come forward. Exhale. One more. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Good, and then let's lift up just a little bit. We're gonna, well, you kind of come up to all fours, I suppose. So we'll take our right hand and we're gonna stretch it up, reaching to the sky, twisting our torso open. And then we're gonna dive her down all the way through and under, threading the needle. And you can kind of rest on that shoulder. Butt is in the air. Good, we'll lift back up. We're on all fours. Take our left arm, reach it up. And then we're gonna dive it through, threading it through. Good, up. I try to really be intentional about my breathing. Of course it gets missed, but literally just to hear myself breathing. I mean, we don't get permission to do that outside of yoga, right? You don't want to be the creepy person breathing heavy or open mouth breathing, but we get to do it in yoga. So do it. Do your breathing. Just noticing it, hearing it means that you're doing it, which is good because a lot of people truly just hold their breath. So we're on all fours. I turn to face you, but you can stay where you are as long as you can see what you need to see. We're going to take our left leg and kick it out. We have a nice posture to our torso. So we have our head, the top of our head in straight alignment down through our spine to our tailbone. Let's curl our right toe under. Toes, rather. And then we're going to shift back and forward. Shift back, forward. Again, we'll inhale as we come forward. Exhale as we come back. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Bring our left leg back in. And we'll just do some little rotations on our wrists. So keeping them planted, arms are pretty darn straight. Not, you don't really want them hyperextended, but let's find a good, make sure you're not putting too much pressure into them. Just circle around on your wrists. And we'll rotate the other direction. My hair is dripping. If that is distracting to anybody, I sincerely apologize. I don't know if you guys can see that, but I got drips all down here. A little post-jujitsu workout or yoga for me, so I just rinsed off real fast and left my braids in. That's what's going on here. Let's take our right leg, kick it out. Left toes curl under. Nice, strong, flat spine. Pushing through the mat with our palms. We're gonna take a big inhale and then exhale as we shift back. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Inhale forward. Exhale back. One more. Inhale forward. Exhale back to neutral. Take our right leg, bring it in. Let's take so my toes are both curled under, right? You can see that hopefully. but our knees are going to be down on the mat. I kind of do my knees wide so I can try to get my pinky toes on the mat too. Maybe this might not grab. I don't know that mine are going to grab. And then you're going to slowly shift back, bring your butt to your heels. Maybe you keep walking, maybe you come upright. We're just stretching our toes and our feet here. Breathing through what can be really, really uncomfortable, especially if you're a runner or, some people just have like wood planks for feet, they're just really, really tight. So this might be a lot for you. Might be a whole lot. I actually feel like I need to lean more forward today than normal. It's feeling like maybe my feet are a little tighter than normal. Good, and then we'll kind of walk our hands forward back to all fours, uncurl our toes, and then you can give them a little smack on the mats. If you're on wood floors, be careful. Get circulation going. Good. Give them a little shake, whatever you want. We're going to take our left leg, kick it back out. And now we're going to come all the way up to standing, but not right on our knee. Hands behind the head. Get our shoulders down and away from our ears. No shruggy shoulders, down and back. And we're going to shift our hips back like we're going to be lowering ourselves to sit down on a chair. Lower, lower, lower. And then come all the way back up, kind of tucking your tail at the top. So let's take a big inhale at the top. Exhale. 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 Good. Bring our hands down, leg back in. Awesome. We're going to flip our right hand so that the palm is facing up and our fingers are towards our knee. Be gentle on the pressure and find a tiny, tiny bit of movement, just enough to massage out your wrists. What feels right to you? Ooh, my tummy's growling. I'm always hungry. Who's always hungry? Everybody's always hungry. Why are we always hungry? It's funny. That's a question. Good. Shake out our hand. Give it a good shake. Plant it. Flip our left. Get some rolling. Very gentle. Good. Shake it out. Take our right leg, kick it out. And we're going to come upright, hands behind our head, shoulders down, pulling our tummy in, reasonably, engaging our core. And we're going to shift our hips back. We're sitting down on a chair and come up, down, noticing your breath. We're inhaling at the top, exhaling at the bottom, which might feel counter to what you want to do. It really doesn't matter. It can. It could matter if we were doing something more strenuous, but for this, just tuning in, making your breath intentional is really my key right now. Let's see, let's do one more because I'm not sure, but one more might be one too many. I wasn't counting. Good. And bring your leg back in. Come to all fours. I want to play with finding some dexterity in our back and shoulders. So from tabletop, or I guess all fours really, we're going to first play with our shoulders. So pushing through our shoulders, right? Like really pushing through the mat, kind of lifts this torso, this upper part of our chest around our collarbones, and then you can sink it and let it be really heavy and letting our shoulders come back, right? Back forward. Exhale. Inhale up. Exhale. Inhale up. Exhale. Inhale up. Exhale. Good. And then similarly, actually, let's come to forearms for a second. Widen your knees. And we're just going to shift back and forward and back and forward. Back. Forward. Good. Bring your knees back to kind of hip width. Come up onto your hands. And so you can play with, for cat-cow, you can play with different parts of your spine. So you can try to imagine only being dexterous through your lower back. So lifting, tucking only your lower back, and then sinking it. Really noticing that kind of pelvic tilt that we're always working on, right? So the tail tuck is what I'm often cueing for back bends. And it doesn't look anything like that because we're arched the other direction, but we still want to have this energetic tucking of our tail. Good. Come back to neutral spine. Now, similarly, we can arch only through our upper spine. So let's lift only through the upper spine, trying to leave our tail as is. It's a little tricky, right? I'm imagining, I know that some of you are men and don't wear bras, or children and don't wear bras, but I'm imagining to be pulling up through my bra line. Like if there was a string right there and somebody was holding me like a puppet and they were pulling up right there. Good. Now come to neutral. Let's lift just our lower spine, and then let's lift our upper spine. And then let's drop our lower, drop our, whoop, I said that backwards. So we're going to go lower lift, upper down, lower down. Huh? Doesn't really matter. Just connecting your brain to your body and seeing what you can do, seeing if you can find some mobility like that in your body. Good. Let's see. Let us push back, downward dog. Pedaling our heels down one at a time towards the mat. Maybe flipping your foot over so that the tops of your feet are on the mat and giving a little lift to shift that pressure back onto your toes. Just stretch the fronts of your feet. Ooh, rolling through your toes. Being gentle, but pushing that boundary of comfort just before injury, right? Let's take our toes, point them to the left, heels to the right. We're going to bend our knees, keeping our hands on the mat and just kind of feeling that big opening in our side body. Good, back to center, toes to the right, heels to the left, bending our knees. With our hands are both planted, we're opening to the right, stretching our right side body. Good. Take our right leg back behind us, and we're going to shift it through, bringing it all the way, knee to the face, dropping it between our hands, and then we're going to drop our back knee, our left knee to the mat. Just giving it a minute for your hip flexors to wake up and loosen up, not feel so startled. We're going to plant our left hand and turn towards our right knee. And I'm taking my palm and I'm pushing it against my quad or kind of inner thigh, keeping that right foot flexed so that you're on the knife's edge and you're not sickling your ankle, but getting a nice stretch in your hip. Good. Bring it back to center. Push off, bringing your right foot back. We're back in downward dog. Let's widen our feet, like a little bit outside of our mats. And then we're going to shift forward into plank, drop our knees, and then just let our hips get nice and heavy. This is where we've got one of those back bends, right? So we're going to have the pelvic tilt where we're tipping like a little tucked tail, like a guilty or scared dog, right? Tucking our tail, releasing some pressure in our lower back. Good. Lifting our hips, bringing our feet in, curling them under. You can push back to downward dog. Left leg's going to come up behind us. And we're going to bring that knee and foot through our hands, planting it, grabbing it, dragging it, getting it up there, dropping our back knee. Just we're kind of finding some relaxation. This big hip stretch. You'll notice I'll kind of pulse in positions, especially when it's kind of a wakening up practice. If you know you have a day ahead of you, you have a workout ahead of you, a yoga practice still ahead of you, I try not to have stagnant stretches, right? Planting our right hand, flexing our left foot. We're going to open up our hip, give a little pressure on the inner thigh. Just don't want your muscles to fall asleep, right? This one's pretty active, what we're doing right now, so I'm not so worried about it. But sometimes when you start getting a less active stretch, muscles can kind of start falling asleep. Good. Plant your hand, come back to neutral. Take our left leg, bring it back downward dog. Let's drop our knees back to tabletop or all fours. And we're going to take our right leg and we're going to donkey kick our heel up to the sky. Come back down. Donkey kick up. Trying to keep your torso and your hips really still. Really isolating that movement in your hamstring, the hamstring and glute. Pushing up. Good. Now this time we're going to kick back up. We're going to kick up, but we're going to rotate out. So we're going to kick up and then rotate out and bring it back in. Donkey kick up, rotate out, bring it back in, up, and good. Switching sides, left leg, couple, do maybe 3 or so donkey kicks. Really engaging our core and our torso. Forcing our backside to do some work. Come back down. This time we're going to kick up and we're going to rotate out like before. So we're going to kick up and rotate out, up, out, up, and out. Good. We'll widen our knees, sink back to child's pose. Just relaxing. Good. Coming up, we're gonna come all the way to standing. This, I guess, this is optional. So if you know that you have a day ahead of you, as I do, sun is coming up, right? This is where we're heading. Or if you have still something ahead of you, if you are done for the day, feel free to relax and just lay around and do a little shavasana, legs up the wall, something like that. But for those of us that need to continue with our day, come to a stand. And we're going to drape our torso down and heavy, right? Have a bend in your knees. Oh my gosh, I'm dying right now. Somebody's cooking bacon in the neighborhood and I can smell it coming through my garage. That's why I'm just distracted. Okay, draping heavy, have a little bend in the knees. Don't be too proud about that. Take the bend. And then we're gonna take our right hand and kind of sweep it to the other side, opening up, coming all the way back and down. And then let's go to the other side. Left hand opens up, get a little arch in the back and down. And just keep doing this back and forth, opening up, waking up. Finding the opening in your hips, you might literally shift your hips all the way forward before you tuck them back under. All right, I've got one more to equal my sized out. Awesome, cool. So thank you so much. Hope you enjoyed that. I'm gonna go have some breakfast that's not bacon, but hopefully tastes half as good. And hope you all are doing well. Thank you so much.